Hi guys, welcome to Mbali Talks. In today's video, I want to share with you 6 side hustles and or businesses that you can actually start as a student that requires zero capital. I know when most of you think of students, you think of somebody who's probably between the ages of 18 to 23, who's either starting out in tertiary or finishing off high school, or is sitting at home because they finished high school and they're waiting to get into tertiary. What you're missing out is the fact that there are people that have 8 to 9 jobs but have decided to go back to school either on a part-time basis and or even on a full-time basis because maybe your employer has allowed you to do it. But while you're there, you find maybe you're only getting paid half your salary, or you're not getting paid at all, and or you actually decided to quit your job and go full-time into being a student, which is something that I did at some point in my life. But when you got there, you realize the shock that comes with being a full-time student, which now means you no longer have the security that you had in the form of a salary every month. This video is definitely for you, whether you're a full-time tertiary student, whether you're starting out being a student, whether you're a student who has just finished high school and wanting to have something for themselves while they wait for their results so that they get into tertiary, or you're an adult who has decided to go back to school but you feel like you could also use some supplementary income in order to help you to be able to keep your bills up. So without wasting any more of your time, let's get right into it. The first is a business that you can actually start as a student, which is also something that I once ventured into when I was in university. In fact, my best friend at the time went all the way into actually getting a qualification for it and starting an actual business with it. This is a nail business. Guys, anywhere and everywhere that you go, there's women that are looking for somebody to do their nails. And I know that when you think of a nail business, you think, oh my goodness, now I must go pay by a sculpture, or I must go pay someone or an institution to teach me how to do my nails. Listen, when we're in university, had no money, trying to make a bit of extra money, we decided we were going to teach ourselves on each other how to actually do nails. This is very easy nowadays because you would literally have to go on a platform like YouTube, Google a couple of videos of the kind of content that you want, how to do nails, nail art, the kind of equipment that you need in order for you to be able to grow your nails. In fact, if you go to the description box right now, I have tried to attach a link to a video that I feel like has a lot of the information with regards to this kind of business in terms of the kind of equipment that you need, and also how you can actually grow that business. This is now just me trying to extend the kind of knowledge that I'm sharing in this video, because I know that I can't base this 30-minute or 20-minute video on how to start a nail business. Also, I'm not very skilled in that business, but I did see it at some point in time make us a bit of extra money. And even though my friend at the time decided she was going to actually go and get a qualification on how to do nails, we still were able to make a bit of extra money even before she had a certificate, because people just trusted the fact that we knew what we were doing. Our nails were always done, we always looked posh, which is something that a lot of young kids at university right now actually look like. And half the time I'm thinking, how are these people paying for these nails that always look like they are this long? But that's where you come in. You could actually be the person that they're paying for you to be able to do their nails. A nail business can start out as anything from 150 all the way to 250 if you're a startup. If you're able, say maybe on a weekly basis, to get at least 10 clients, that's an estimate of about 1.5 to 2.5 rands on a weekly basis that you can make for yourself as a student to help you do basically whatever it is you want. Imagine a situation where now that business has grown, you've been able to create a bit more capital out of it, you are now then able to go and take your money, it's usually about 6,000 rand the last time I checked, pay a company like Biosculpture to actually teach you how to do nails, to give you a certificate, so that even if you're a university student who is now qualified, sitting at home waiting for a job, you're not sitting empty-handed. You can find a job either at an actual salon where they are actually doing nails, or you can do your own side hustle from the comfort of your home. There's a girl that I want to shout out at, Yandi Shope. She's based in Swaziland. She actually does, I think her Instagram page is called Nail by Yandi. She has come a long way. She does such beautiful nails, and last I checked, she actually does do house calls. So I thought, let me include in this video because this is the business that I'm actually talking about, and it's something that I saw her start out as a student or as somebody who was waiting at home, waiting to break into the workforce. This is definitely a business that I think is worth starting out as a student. The second business that you can actually start out as a student that requires zero capital is braiding. Okay, so braiding may require you to have a bit of a skill when you're starting out, but again, these are the kinds of businesses that you can actually start out by practicing on the people that you actually stay with. Whether your roommate at res or your family inside the house, just start out by buying a bit of fiber. Guys, fiber literally costs, I think, 10 rand the last I checked, of the cheapest. If you're able to get 30 rand, you've got 3 packets of fiber. You use that fiber to practice how to braid on the people that you actually stay with, and or even some of your friends that are going to be willing for you to practice on them so that you can harness your skill. I do know that right now what's blowing up in the braiding business is people that are willing to do house calls. So that could basically be you, because as a student, you don't even have the money for you to rent out a space where people can find you. But you can always post on your WhatsApp, have your friends and family also post on their WhatsApps, your number, your contact, saying when you're available in between those classes in order for you to be able to come and make house calls to people's houses for you to be able to braid them. In addition, what I like about the braiding business is the fact that it literally requires zero capital, because there's no point in time where you, as a house caller or as a student who's learning how to braid or as a student that's providing braiding services to people, will you ever be required to buy material. All the braiding material, the fiber extensions, darling, this, I'm not even sure of the other brand that people normally use, but all those brands that need you to be able to braid are bought by the client. Secondly, because you're going to be doing house calls, you run away from the risk of not being able to pay rent at a salon, etc. Not only that, similar to the nail business, what I like about a braiding business is the fact that if you find yourself in a situation where now you're done with school, you're waiting to get into a job, you can literally go into a salon and get an actual job. Or what people do nowadays is go into a salon or somebody who actually has a space and say, hey, can I please rent out a portion of your space in order for me to be able to do my nails and or in order for me to braid. A lot of the salons, especially in Johannesburg, and if I remember correctly, even back home in Swaziland, they are made up of different ladies that are sharing the space because they are sharing the rent. This is because each of them realize maybe they may not be able to afford the entire place. Then one day, when you feel like now you've really made it, you have a bit of money, you can actually turn that business into a big business where now you have your own space and or your own employees. So this is definitely one of the businesses that I recommend for a student to start that requires no capital and actually has the potential to grow into an actual empire. The third business that you can start as a student that requires no capital at all is a hot sauce / chili / acha business. I don't know where you call it from where you're from, but basically being able to put ingredients together, cook up some hot sauce, put it in bottles, sell it to people is the business that I would advise for you to try out as a student if you're looking for a business that does not require any capital. You may be saying to yourself, but a hot sauce business requires the ingredients as well as the bottles. Babe, the bottles are literally selling for 10 rand at a Chinese shop. If you are able to have money every month to do your hair, you are surely going to be able to have money every month to stock up on those bottles for chili. Then when it comes to the ingredients, I'm going to advise you something that you're not allowed to tell your parents and or your guardian and or the person who's allowing you to stay in their house. Don't ever tell them that I told you this. But you can literally be using the ingredients that are in the house. Cabbage, tomato, carrots, hot sauce that you want to mix into your hot sauce, raw chili. You can even grow your own raw chili, which you can then now sprinkle into the hot sauce that you're actually trying to make. But I just don't think it's rocket science. At the same time, I really think it's an easy business. Even if you're somebody who does not necessarily like to cook, just like myself, you can still get away with having a hot sauce business because you don't have to cook every day. All you have to do is create a bit of sauce, give everybody a taste around the house and or your friends or maybe even at the next braai. Then you will know how you need to change your hot sauce into something that you can actually bottle and sell as a business. These are easy businesses that don't even require you to even have an Instagram and or a Facebook page. All you literally have to do is have a WhatsApp account, which everybody has. Post a couple of pictures, post different sizes of the hot sauce, and then put your prices and you're good to go. So if you're looking for a side hustle to start that requires zero capital, that allows you to steal ingredients from home, definitely starting a hot sauce business is one of those businesses for you because it requires zero capital as well. The fourth business that you can start as a student that requires no capital at all is something that I use every time I sit in front of this camera to do these videos. And I know that right now I've not been able to locate someone who can actually supply it to me on a consistent basis. I just usually try to search online, or if I'm desperate, I go to China Mall. We're going to talk about China Mall in this business for you as a supplier. This business is an eyelash business. Guys, everywhere you go nowadays, women are using eyelashes. They use the light, flutter eyelashes. They use eyelashes as big as mine. They use eyelashes that are even bigger than mine. They use eyelashes that are in different patterns. You know, there's a different and wide variety of lashes that you can actually use. Even if you're a girl who feels like, you know what, I'm not really great at this makeup thing, etc., there is a pair of eyelashes that you can actually stock and sell for people exactly like yourself. Someone who, most of the time, like I do when I move around on a daily basis, just wants something that really flatters. And quite honestly, the reason I put this business on this video is the fact that I would usually do individual lashes, right? But let's be honest, guys, individual lashes will quickly leave you looking like a ghost. I don't know if this has ever happened to you, where you literally have individual lashes, you pay 400-500 rand to have them done. By the time you get home or the following day after you've woken up, and shame, you try by all means to sleep as articulately as possible, but individual lashes will embarrass you. They will drop off, leaving a gap somewhere, such that now you look like there's something wrong with your eyes. So that's where you come in as an eyelash business supplier, which basically means you're going to be selling the types of eyelashes that require you to put glue on and take it off at the end of the night. You can even go as far as being a person who also supplies the eyelashes with eyelash glue. If this is something that you're interested in, there's actually a eyelash glue that I discovered at China Mall. It's not typically an eyelash glue. It's black. It's written hair bonding glue. Listen, I'm not saying I am promoting this product, and I'm not saying that this is the best product in the market, so don't quote me if you use the product and it doesn't treat you well, but I've been using this hair bonding glue on my eyelashes since the day I decided I was going to start using my own eyelashes instead of doing individuals, and it works like a charm. What I also like about it is the fact that it doesn't give that sort of like chilly feeling that happens on your eye when you put eyelashes. Of course, you need to be careful when you're putting them so that you put them properly. But what I'm trying to say is, in this point, start an eyelash business as a student. You have so many people around you at res, in your office, or amongst your friends, even at church, ladies that are using eyelashes. Better yet, you can even start doing videos showing people how to actually apply your lashes using the kind of glue that you want. So that sometimes somebody else like me who doesn't want the idea of going and getting this from this and this from this just comes and buys that entire package from you. So an eyelash business is definitely one of the businesses that I'd advise for you to start out as a student. You can start your business by selling eyelashes, nothing more than 100 rand, because quite honestly, people do have the idea that they can get them at the Chinese place. But if you're in a remote place and or you're on campus, for example, people don't have the time to go off campus to go and buy eyelashes. You can be their supplier. At a bare minimum, you'd probably find yourself making 1,000 rand in a week if you're able to sell 10 eyelashes at 100 rand per pack. 1,000 rand a week times 4 weeks, that's an easy 4,000 rand that you can have as a student to either buy groceries, buy books, go out, buy new clothes, etc. Whatever it is that you fancy, you'd now be able to do it without needing to go back home to ask people for money. The fifth business that I can advise for you to start as a student that requires zero capital is actually a business that I feel like is so popular, and it's such an obvious business for students because they have such a big source of potential customers right at their fingertips at university and or even amongst your class if you're somebody who's taking adult education. This is to start a t-shirt and or a sweater business. I know that when you think of this business, you think, oh my goodness, now I must go and buy fabric and have t-shirts made. I must find a CMT. I am here to tell you that all that is not true. There are actually two places in town, which is in South Africa, that I'm going to recommend for you. The first one is called A to Z Textiles. They do sell fabric, but just next to them, there's a place where they actually supply t-shirts, so you can check them out. The second place is another place whose name I don't really know, but I know that it's next to Pet Bro Textiles in town. Both of these places are in Fordsburg, and I do know that they are not very far from each other. In actual fact, I think they are probably a walking distance away from each other. That's where you can actually go to and find different t-shirt fabrics, different t-shirt designs, whether you want a round neck or you want a v-neck or you want a hard collar. They have different designs and they have different fabrics and they have different qualities that you can decide to use to start your t-shirt business. All you need to do to start a t-shirt business really is to just get one funky thing that you can post on your t-shirts. Trust me, if I had the time, I usually have so many weird sayings in my mind that I would want to print on a t-shirt and then sell those. In fact, at some point, I actually thought it was a business that I was going to start in line with this channel as part of like the YouTube merchandise that you can actually buy from me. Who knows? Maybe I'm still started. But for now, you can get a head start from me by actually starting the business for yourself. Also, if you're not in Johannesburg, these places are actually cheap places for you to be able to supply. So I personally think it would be worth it for you to take your time, travel all the way to these places that I've actually shared to try and see if you can actually use them as suppliers for your t-shirts. Another heads up about these businesses is the fact that they don't only sell t-shirts, but they also sell hoodies. So if you're somebody who feels like, I want to start a hoodie business, you know how you do, take a couple of pictures. I've seen a lot of young people online start this kind of businesses. And even though I know that personally it's not my everyday way, it's still a culture thing that I see growing quite rapidly amongst young people. So as a student, this is basically the market that you'd also be tapping into. Not only that, this is one of those businesses that you can actually start out by using a process like dropshipping. I have tried to find another video on dropshipping that is on YouTube. You guys can check it out, of people talking about what dropshipping is and how you can actually use it to start a business for yourself. What I like about dropshipping is the fact that your customers are not only going to be the people that you know each and every day, but it can literally be people from all over the world because of how dropshipping works. So I think it's definitely worth checking out. The sixth and final business that I'd advise for you to start as a student with zero capital that also requires you to steal a bit of ingredients from home is a cake business. Guys, I don't know how many businesses I've seen since 2020 that have started out either baking scones, baking muffins, and or baking cakes. What I like about that business is the fact that you don't even need to go anywhere to be taught how to do these things. There's multiple recipes online that you can try out on different days and also try out the taste of what you've made on your friends and family before you can actually decide which of the products that you're going to adopt as those that are under your business. Also, a cake bake business doesn't limit you to just baking cakes. You can literally bake biscuits in 25 liters that people are always looking for when they go to events. You can bake scones, and some of those products don't even require a lot of the delicacy that goes into baking all these nice fancy cakes, but they can still allow you to make a bit of extra money. I have about 2 friends that are actually in the cake business. One of them is called Mbali. I think if you're from Swaziland, you guys know a lot of her. She does these amazing cakes and she sells them even in slice form. She also does the dessert jars. Then my other friend actually bakes muffins as well as biscuits. And this other friend of mine is actually at full-time employment every day, 8 to 5. But she decided to start out on this biscuit business as a way for her to be able to make money. And I can tell the fact that surely her business is making money because she has stayed consistent to it since the day she started it 2 years ago. All she had to do was bake a couple of biscuits, put them in a clear bucket, take a couple of pictures and post them all over her social media. We as her friends also actually started sharing the content, and I'm sure that by us also helping her to share these pictures, she's been able to gain a bit more customers. So if you're sitting there thinking, oh my goodness, I don't think I have the skill to be able to bake cakes and decorate them nicely, then start out small by having scones and or biscuits. With all that said, I've come to the end of this video. I do hope that out of all the businesses that I've mentioned, you found 1 or 2 or even 3 of the businesses that you can actually decide to venture into. Otherwise, please don't forget to hit the like button and also just join our community so that you don't miss out on any of the content here. And also guys, don't be shy to share this content with other people on your social media platforms by sharing the link so that they can also get help from these types of videos. Otherwise, I'm gonna see you guys in the next Mbali Talks video. Cheers.